Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a commentary-related dramatic event brewing over the past year, I guess? So allow me to introduce a Boon Canon recipient that's going to get a very unique approach in this particular episode. I shall first introduce him as SonicShadow 98 because that's the first name that we'll meet him as. His channel would later change to the SonicShadow channel, which, sure. Look, there's only so much of the context I'm going to be able to give here because, well, that's where the unique approach comes in. Most of the context is going to be covered as the main topic of the video. We'll begin with the video that started it all, an Among Us rant that was previously covered by Loudman Styles. I actually noticed some points I could make that were pretty different from what Loudon originally said, and thought about covering the video then, but I decided against it for various reasons at the time. So, I think we'll start with my take on what's wrong with this video, especially with the benefit of hindsight concerning other things you would say later on. So let's go on this wave of mutilation together and spiral into the abyss of this mind, shall we? Oh, we're going on a journey with this one. But before I begin, I'm not really going to bring up the audio balancing or most of the production issues, save for a couple, because I think other people have already done quite a bit of discussion on that front. But that being said, I am starting with what is mostly a production point, as I feel this point on the video production is important to address. His intro. See, this intro right here is honestly okay. No overt syncing of clips, but at the very least, there's a tone lining up between the visuals and the audio. However, the abrupt cut to a still image for like 8 seconds with no music and just characters on screen kind of ruins that. You could have stopped at the first part of the intro, or at least put the name of this video in the space in order to justify it being here. It wouldn't be perfect, but it would still be something. Even if it's jarring shift in editing style, like I said, it would still be something. But, well, this intro was actually on the right path, I'd say, but just needed some tweaks. This is going to be relevant to what I have to say about a later video. Yes, I'm serious. My first setup point is a fucking compliment. Get over it.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Among Us! Yes, Among Us. For stars, the fucking game is shit! It's a shitty game, okay? It's a crappy game. This game is in space! And it has like this whole group of things called imposters or whatever. And crewmates, so it's two separate teams, I guess? You have to go freaking find them? I don't know. And I don't care.
Okay, so on top of Loudon already pointing out how you somehow don't care about have an entire rant on how bad something is that you have no interest in, like, the way you say that it's in space seems to imply the game having a space setting automatically makes it bad? I mean, it's kind of funny the way you deliver that, and honestly, if you had followed up on that delivery style, I'd give you credit, but you just kind of taper off, so it just sounds like that was supposed to be an actual sarcastic point about the setting. Okay, what about it? Give me something to work with here. Give me a complaint that you have, a reason for even your disinterest on the surface level.
This game is boring. It's not even fun at all. It looks like a piece of dog shit, for crying out loud. I'm not even interested in playing this game.
Okay, so here we go. The game is boring and it looks like dog shit. Let me start with the boring part, including a clarification you'd put in the comments yourself. Now, you yourself would admit to trying the game and still standing by your video, but that kind of just highlights the big problem with this particular critique. How can you say something's boring if you haven't experienced it for yourself? Why make the claim at all without playing the game? It'd be one thing if you said it looked boring or something specific you can see in the gameplay that turns you off from wanting to try it. But of course, that's where the looks like dog shit comment comes in, because that is something that could make you dislike a game. I question if that holds up, though, considering your comment section again. Okay, this comment, this isn't you. I know that. I'm not stupid. You see that heart symbol right down there, though? That is you. That's you hearting the comment, favoriting the comment. That's an indication that you, to some degree, have approval for this sentiment. So, I guess it can't look that much like dog shit, can it? It's just a shame you don't elaborate. I think what you're trying to say is that the game looks like it doesn't have gameplay that you like, which is an actual point. But that's not what you said. And what you said is very easily construed as a point about the art style. So, you know, this is why having a basic idea of what you're going to say before you start recording is generally a good idea.
I don't like it. I hate it. I hate this freaking game so much. I'm better off playing a Sonic game like Sonic CD, Sonic 2, Sonic 1, or Sonic Unleashed. Those are way better and more fun, challenging, and exciting than Among Us.
Alright, so again, this is still part of the rant where I at least get what you're ranting about, even if from my perspective it's kind of immature and would still not make a very good video. When you're using the words exciting and challenging, not only does this start sounding really familiar, but it also tells me that the overall genre of Among Us that cites your issue with the game, which is something you don't seem to understand yourself, but I'll cross that bridge when I reach that bridge.
Among Us is a boring, overrated, piece of crap, piece of shit game. The only reason people like it is because people want to follow the freaking trend. They want to play what's popular now, instead of playing actual good games.
Alright, those of you who've already seen Loudon's video already know why I'm saying this, I bet, but keep this in mind. People are only playing it because it's popular. I don't know what that word means, but I'm guessing the definition is similar to popular, or you don't know how to pronounce words. But here's a take on that. You're not entirely wrong. Among Us is an inherently social game, so it's going to have a better gameplay experience if you have more people to play it with. It's baked into the very essence of the game that popularity would be a factor into the gameplay experience. And true, the gameplay isn't action-oriented, but instead built around simple minigames and the mental task of juggling and analyzing the information. See, when Loudon told you that you like Sonic more because you don't have to think, he seemed to mean it in a condescending, insulting way, but it's actually a real reason why Among Us wouldn't appeal to you. Maybe you don't like thinking when you play a video game. It's why you might not like a strategy game or a lot of other genres I have a tendency to like. Maybe you just want to run fast. Notice how I'm not judging you for this, though. That's part of the difference between what you're saying and what I'm saying.
And to me, that's just insulting. It's not even fun at all. Among Us it's just not even a fun game at all, to be honest. It's overrated, and not in a good way.
How would something be overrated in a good way? What the fuck does that mean? Over a year later, I still don't know what that means. What in the balls fuck?
If you like Among Us, fine, whatever, I don't care. It's your opinion. You can enjoy whatever the hell you want.
Oh, no. Of course you don't. Which is why you judge people who like it as trend chasers less than 30 seconds before saying this. I really do hope you see how awful this sounds now, because if you don't, then, well, as we'll see later, you won't have proven anything to anyone.
But I just cannot stand Among Us. Fucking Among Us. Why is that game so popular again? It doesn't even deserve the popularity it gets. It's pathetic and insulting to actual good games that have good gameplay, good stories, all that shit.
Further proof, by the way, that in spite of saying that people can like what they like, your behavior proves otherwise. Like, for one, you haven't actually said anything about the game that indicates any element of its quality. You sure have implied your reasoning in a way that I have to interpret from you, but this is a rant video, my guy. You should be telling us what the problem is directly if you have strong enough feelings to make a whole ass video on it. Second of all, I want you to actually think about what you said. I want to add the shading to the word picture you just painted for me, if you will. You find it insulting that the game is popular. You think it's an insult to things that are good in your eyes that this has the popularity it does. In turn, people can like what they like, and you're not bothered if someone likes this game. Those are opposite sentiments. I mean, sure, if you say you don't understand the game's popularity, that doesn't directly shut down an opposing viewpoint, even if that is clearly the intent. Hell, I can even argue that saying it doesn't deserve its popularity isn't judging people for liking it, and the intent behind that statement is even more obvious. But when you're insulted, the implication there is far too strong to come up with any justification for why your statement about people being able to like what they like and not caring doesn't hold weight. At that point, the fact Among Us is popular is something that is disrespectful to you. Now, to be disrespected, you have to care about something. Keep that in mind. But this isn't even you saying the game is insulting, just its popularity. So just think about that for a second. You feel disrespected, scornfully abused, because that's the definition of insulted, by the fact that people like Among Us. And yet, you don't care if they do, and they can like what they like. Do you see the overt and direct contradiction that goes beyond the level of this video being unscripted yet?
It's insulting to actual games that are fun. This game is not fun to me. I'm sorry, but I just don't find it fun at all.
And that, to me, is also a ridiculous backpedal. But to be honest, at best, it just means that you don't understand how you're using your words. And at worst, you're flip-flopping so hard that you can pretend your video is less insulting than it actually is. I would ask you which is it, but that's what the rest of my video is here for.
It's another one of these shitty horror games, like Five Nights at Freddy's and Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Alright, so I'm gonna ignore the fact that Among Us is not really a horror game. It has elements of horror, sure, but it's a social deduction and social deception game at the end of the day. It's more in common with Danganronpa than Five Nights at Freddy's or Bendy and the Ink Machine, especially in terms of the art style, specifically how it uses color and more minigame-oriented gameplay. The game I'd most closely compare to Among Us, other than stuff like Town of Salem and Werewolf, the whole idea is based on, is actually Dead by Daylight, because you have one person playing a serial killer and the others trying to survive. I could go on about other differences that make your comparisons far less apt, but I think I've made my point, especially since the Steam tags for the game don't list it as a horror game. You know, it's almost like people aren't playing it as a horror title, so saying it's popular because it's just another horror title is misleading.
What's next? What is the next overrated popular shitty horror game that's going to come out?
Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Games to ever come out in this generation. And I hate these Among Us live streams. Like seriously, Among Us live streams are so boring. They're not even worth the time. Even Sonic Sun 182's Among Us live streams are boring. And Sonic Sun 182 is a YouTuber, a Sonic YouTuber that I actually respect. Even if there's awesome Sonic characters in Among Us live streams, I still won't fucking watch them all the way through.
It's a video game. Were you expecting a video game to not have live streams? Fuck me, man. I guess Twitch isn't a platform. Sorry, Caden, you don't exist. In addition, why the fuck are you watching a live stream of a game you don't like and expecting to enjoy it? I'm not going to go on a StarCraft 2, there went my strategy gamer credibility, but fuck it. I'm not going to go on a StarCraft 2 live stream and expect to be highly engaged all the way through, because I personally don't enjoy StarCraft 2 that much, and I especially don't enjoy watching it. So that's another reason. Even if you like playing a game, you may not enjoy watching others play it. And most people don't watch live streams all the way through, my dude. It's live. You watch when you want and leave when you're done. Nobody actually expects you to sit there for 2 to 10 hours watching some sussy baka vent all over. Fuck, what's another Among Us thing? Gregory? Ah, shit! That's the one with the bears!
It's just characters or whoever playing a shitty fucking game like Among Us. It's boring. Like, these live streams, just like the game itself, are boring.
And you just explained what the appeal of Among Us live streams are. It's not so much about the game as the personalities of the people playing the game. It's a just chatting stream with a gameplay structure, guy. Combined with the fact that you oftentimes have multiple popular people on these streams all playing together, and it's no wonder people would gravitate towards it, even if the gameplay itself isn't entirely of their interest.
I don't care. I'm just like... Even Super Mario Logan, a YouTuber I used to respect, made a video! A plus video on Among Us! Seriously, these stupid ass trends on the internet go way too far!
How dare someone make a video on something popular in order to get views? Like, I get that you're saying that it shouldn't be popular, but beyond the blatant contradiction that people aren't allowed to make videos about things they like if you don't like it, therefore again showing that your claim of not caring what other people like is a blatant lie. Your intonation and wording make it sound like the reason you no longer respect Super Mario Logan is because he made an Among Us video. If not, why even bring up the fact that you used to respect him? Why not just say, this popular plush YouTuber is also cashing in on Among Us? It's ridiculous. Because that makes your point about too many people clinging on to the topic without implying that other people have a different opinion from you is enough to lose your respect.
Logan probably made that video just to please the frickin' Among Us fans. Again, what's so special about this frickin' game?
If you're gonna present the question, I'm gonna provide the answer. In the comments, people talk about the art style, which people consider, you know, special. It also adds an extra real-time element to the traditional social deduction game format, something that One Night Ultimate Werewolf does in the reverse of, removes the turn-based element that would be in its place. I mean, that's pretty much all I need to fucking say, even though I could easily go further than that, but I have another approach to take with this concept. What's so special about Sonic the Hedgehog? It's a shitty game. There's no challenge in the game whatsoever. All you do is run fast, so what's the point? Now, you may notice that my argument there is completely full of shit. Sonic requires reflexes and reaction time. I mean, sure, it doesn't require the same skills that someone playing Among Us would want to be utilizing while playing a video game, but a game that tests a different set of skills isn't so much worse for it as it is special because it does.
And then they say, oh, relax, it's just a game. Like, shut up! It's just the lousiest excuse ever. Saying it's just a game does not exempt it from criticism.
You know, you're right. Saying it's just a game doesn't exempt it from criticism. That's a very, very good point to make, actually. Keep this in mind as we go further along.
But oh, if the game itself and the live streams weren't already insufferable, I have to deal with the fucking Among Us fanbase everywhere I fucking go. On YouTube and on Discord. Like they post these fucking stupid ass memes like imposter or sus. Like, oh, this is sus. Oh, imposter.
I mean, if that's the level of memes that you're dealing with, then sure, I could see why. First of all, just saying that something is sus is just shorthand for saying it's suspicious. It's not really a meme. Like in my last video, I said that something MatPat was doing looked sus, but I didn't make any effort to make an Among Us meme out of it. It was just a fast way to express that something was suspicious. Fuck, this has actually gone into other social deduction games. People say sus in those games as well. This is like saying that typing LOL is cringy. It expresses an idea other than just being a meme. The imposter thing could be different from that, though, since it sounds like just calling something an imposter, which is a real word that could be used to describe something that is pretending to be something else. Talking about why I can't debunk that serves to debunk the whole thing in and of itself. I can't really comment on it as a meme or not, because I don't know how it was used. I have no context here to debunk the whole thing in and of itself. I can't really comment on it as a meme or not because I don't know how it was used. I have no context here.
It's just pathetic. It drives me insane when I see people saying sus or imposter in the fucking YouTube comments or on Discord servers.
Ah, see, this is tactical error number 1. Never publicly state you don't like something. It's just going to result in people doing it more. This will be relevant later.
They praise Among Us like it's the best thing since sliced bread, when it's not. If you go around everywhere on the internet posting shit like sus or imposter or whatever, you're not cool. You have no life. You have no life at all if you go around doing this shit, saying all this shit.
Even though it's inherently a social game? Alright, so going through like any possible interpretation of having no life that doesn't make sense. It's a multiplayer game that is about social deduction. Now, the one interpretation I can see working is if that's all someone talks about or all someone does. And sure, being single-minded to the point of eschewing other topics is, in fact, an interpretation of someone having no life. That applies to anything, though. Like, I get that you're talking about Among Us, but at least say something less, generic?
The memes are not even funny at all. Only frickin' little kids find it funny. I'm sick of seeing or hearing about this crap everywhere. Like seriously, if I hear one more person saying sus in the YouTube comments or on the internet, I'm going to frickin' explode, and they are going to get on my bad side.
See, again, you really shouldn't tell people not to do something on the internet, especially when it's really funny and you're getting mad about something like this. And yeah, not immune to criticism, fine, but there is a difference between criticism and just being mad.
The fanbase is fucking cringy. It's one of the worst fanbases ever. The Among Us fanbase makes me hate the game even more
The Sonic
than I already
fanbase.
do. It's downright sad and pathetic. And oh, here's a little fact I just found out right before I went ahead to make this rant. Among Us actually came out in 2018. Yet, it did not become popular until 2 years later, in 2020. You mean to tell me that it took 2 years just for this freaking game to become popular? Are you freaking kidding me?
Alright, so now I get to explain the factors that made Among Us popular in 2020 in spite of the fact that it came out in 2018. So for one, it's streamers discovering the game. Like, Five Nights at Freddy's had the advantage, for example, that it was in a genre that streamers and YouTubers were already playing, but Among Us got picked up as, in essence, a sort of ambassador for the social deduction genre. The reason for this is a combination of accessibility, the COVID pandemic making online gaming a safer method for social interaction, and the August 2020 release of the Henry Stickmin collection drawing further attention onto the developer. Game's still popular too, but not as much because people can now touch grass without having to worry about murdering Nana with Superflu. And the fact that other games within its genre have entered the market, something also slowed down by the pandemic, by the way, because damn near everything was slowed down by the pandemic. Anyway, the rest of this video is him getting onto the memes about being cringy. Oh, right, except for this part.
It's time to unleash Dark SonicShadow 98! I am about to go road raids on the Among Us fanbase for trending this shit! Dark SonicShadow 98 will be victorious! And soon! Many months and years later, Among Us will stop being relevant!
Uh-huh. And the Among Us memes are cringy. Right. Oh, but I can dissect this further, actually, because, of course I can. I'm nothing else if not overly pedantic. So, since you're supposed to be, like, a Sonic character, you should have gone Super SonicShadow 98, hypothetically. You know, Dark Sonic is the evil super form, right? So to battle against Among Us, you decide to turn fully evil. Which means Among Us is counter to your evil intent. I don't know, bro, that's pretty damn...
Is this what you want? Is this what you want, stupid idiots?
What I want is for you to quote Le Champion better, you stupid idiot! Although, honestly, you'd probably need a little bit of the bubbly to think this was a good idea.
We'll see who's laughing now.
It's me. I'm laughing. Watch. Ha 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 ha!
Don't you ever get on my bad side. Don't, you got fat?
Ha!
Good.
Alright, so that one word you kind of pulled off, that sounded genuinely creepy. Good job.
If I hear sus one more time, face the wrath of Dark Sus.
Alright, so that was the Among Us video. Now, the next video is his commentary community rant, which I don't actually have much to say about, so this is going to be one of those timestamp at the beginning of the clip sections. That being said, first timestamp I'm covering is 0.
He's a rocket and he's ready to go, cause now the countdown has started and he's ready to blow. He's got the dope sounds bumping and his stereo. He gets fast, putting on a show. Don't wanna get yourself together, there's no time to rest. And his world war is less. And if you wanna test him, best bring your best. Don't make me spell it out, bring your best. In this world, where life is strong. In this world, compromise does not exist in his world. In this world, where one is all. In this world, where compromise does not exist. His world of wolves every step.
Okay. So remember what I said earlier about the intro not being half bad? This is more than half bad. Whole thing is too long, first of all. The timing's not there. And the best thing I can honestly say about it is the choice of clips and music actually still suit your brand and aren't all over the place in tone. What I'm about to say will be more relevant later, but this is a sign of a downward slope in quality. Now, there's very little else in this video I want to cover. A lot of it is just a situation I don't have the full context for, and opinions. But, like I said, timestamps are incoming.
When I do long videos that are even an hour long, I make them really engaging and entertaining and actually offer valid points. And they are long only because I invite Discord guests to do these videos with me, as I give them time to say what they think of the subject as I was ranting on with them. Doodle doesn't do that at all. She doesn't offer anything engaging.
Alright, so first of all, I want to go through your library real quick for videos that are over 50 minutes long. A greatest hits clip compilation of yourself. Multiple live streams with only you. And finally, half a year before this video, a rant you did with other people. Not technically a lie, but this does seem to be something you're moving away from on your channel. And as if it's engaging, that's subjective and something the analytics could show you to be true or false. But now onto the idea that Doodle Tones doesn't do these things. Since the specific example you give is bringing other people on during long videos. Let's discuss time that happened before your video came out. Two in particular stand out from close to this time frame. There's a 2-hour video that has Avi Haltman feature in it, and there's a 3-hour video that, well, while she handles that herself, she outright states in her intro that she intended to cover it with other people, and it features a large number of cameo appearances, so it's not like she's handling this solo because that was her first choice. Or technically at all. Oh, and don't worry, Doodle. I see you over there with my longest commentary title. Oh, yes. I see you all right. I see you clear as a fucking window. So anyway, back to the furry.
Loudon is, for me now, is okay. He left a sour impression on me after watching his commentary on the first part to my Among Us rant, which I didn't like honestly, but after hearing that his commentaries are really good, they are something I want to check out for myself.
Wait, so your only first-hand impression is negative, but you like him in spite of not seeing anything else? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, there's no joke I can really make here. Well, I'm sure I could make a joke. I don't know, put up a PNG of a chicken and have it move from one side of the screen to the other and stop and go, hey, why are you crossing the commentary? And have the chicken say, shut the fuck up, man! Everybody asking me while I'm crossing shit everywhere. If I go, can the chicken fucking live his fucking life? Goddamn piece of shit! And then walk off screen only for me to stand there confused for several seconds. But, you know, that wouldn't really have anything to do with your point.
So many of the commentators in the commentary community I either don't care for, like Boonslayer, or I just can't stand them.
See, like, here's the weird part. Why bring me up at all? Hell, all the other people you mention by name that you don't like, notice how they get treated. You speak on them, talk about something specific in regards to them, but with me, you just don't care for me. And you can't even show my icon on screen. Why is that exactly? Why push me off to the side the way that you do while still mentioning me in the first place? I mean, granted, based on what else he says about the others, you can see part of what he doesn't like easily. He tends to not like long solo videos, so, well, there you go right there. And yeah, I can definitely come across condescending, you chucklefuck. So, those are things, but why gloss over me in such spectacularly dismissive fashion? The answer will present itself soon enough, but the rest of this video is primarily focused on a, like I said before, a situation I don't really have the full context for, so that's going to be all for this video. Anyway, next video is him rambling about stuff, the first half being focused on someone posting sus in his comment section. Now, I'll get to why I'm not covering most of this later, but I'll be timestamping here too.
These are the scums of the commentary community, the ones that say that I can take criticism, but yet they do stupid crap like this.
How does posting a meme relate to not taking criticism? Like, you criticize the use of the word sus as a meme, and they did it, so I guess? You asked them to stop, and they continued. Once again, this is the internet, you should know better. Doesn't mean they aren't being childish or anything, but let's be real here. The point on its own is kind of dumb in how disconnected the two things you're connecting are without putting in the legwork yourself to connect them.
Please stop. Shut the hell up and leave me alone. And oh, I am going to do a follow-up rant once again on the commentary community. The second part to my initial rant on them.
So, you want them to leave you alone, and the way that you're going to make that happen is to not leave them alone. If you want something to die, you shut up about it, my man. I'm not going to say who I did this with because it's going to be real relevant, but I'm speaking from a level of personal experience that you do not fucking understand. I know for a fact, not opinion, that you do not understand it. That should be the hint for you right there, actually.
To the commentary community, or more specifically the scums that make up the community.
To the community, or specifically its members. So, the community.
If you cannot take my criticisms, too bad. I'm going to rant on you guys one more time again anyways, because you just need to be called out for the type of crap that you have done. When I do the follow-up rant and post it in a calm and civilized manner, like the way I'm speaking now and not this screaming and raging lunatic that I was in the past. If you stop BS with me if you just completely trash the whole rant because, oh, it trash our precious community. How dare you not take criticism, blah, 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 blah. Then that will prove to me that you are unable to handle any sort of criticism whatsoever.
Well, I get what you're trying to say. Based on the rest of your actions, it really sounds like if we don't agree with you, then there's no way whatsoever it could be that your video is bad or that what you're saying is wrong, and it must be that the community refuses to take criticism. Even though in your CC rant, you specifically pointed out Youngblood Fantasy 91's rant, which was well accepted. So forget all the other times the community was criticized and accepted it. Forget all the times people within the community criticized each other. Nah, can't take criticism because of not liking your video.
And oh, No Way Home looks like it'll be a pile of trash. I am sorry, but I am not a fan of the MCU at all, especially MCU Spider-Man.
Alright. That's a fucking turn. Like, one sentence could have made this transition flow better. Even, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Let's talk about something else. Would work, my guy. This was a full break with no seatbelt.
This is all just nostalgia bait. Tom Holland is horrible as Spider-Man. Fact, not an opinion, but a fact.
That rhetoric sounds familiar, but alright. Let's work off that logic. A fact is something proven to be truth, meaning if it were a fact and not an opinion, I wouldn't be able to find experts in, say, the field of cinema that have a dissenting opinion very easily, correct? So, why has he won the Saturn Award for Best Performance by a younger male actor every single non-Avengers movie he's in playing Spider-Man? Why is he the only person to win that award 3 times, every time winning it for playing the same character? Saturn Awards is given out by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, and the film awards in particular are notoriously difficult to win multiple times. In fact, only 4 people have won a total of 3 or more Saturn Awards for acting in film. Robert Downey Jr., Tobey Maguire, only one of which was for Spider-Man, by the way, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill. Now, Tom Holland is actually in quite the elite club within that elite, being only one of 3 actors, the other 2 being Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Hamill, to receive 3 awards for the same character. Even if we include television, his feat still becomes unique, being one of 2 people to win 3 awards in consecutive years, beaten by Anna Torv's 4 wins for her work on the show Fringe. So, remind me how Tom Holland being a shit Spider-Man is fact again?
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did the whole Spider-Verse Dimensions concept better. Of course you're going to pay tickets to see a crappy MCU superhero garbage movie, and it's a Hollywood cash grab. I mean really, we need original content for a change.
Into the Spider-Verse is a story from the comics, you chuckle fuck!
We need original movies, okay? We do. We actually demand from, and we're not going to say, oh, we want original content, and then never support it. We're not going to do that at all. We are going to support original content.
Okay, cool. So, you went to watch Encanto, then, right? Right? Or what about Shang-Chi? You know, a character that Marvel hadn't used before and got the 2nd highest box office in 2021. You're right, we do need original content. And we're getting it. It's just not everything we're getting. Which is fine.
Because the thing is, like Corey Majera brought up, that people will demand original content, yet when original content comes out, they never support it.
Huh. Very weird for you to bring up agreeing with a Corey Margera point. I mean, it's a valid point. People demand new things, but when they get them, there's a lot of times that it gets ignored or chastised. But, you know, that's where that rhetoric started to sound familiar to me. So, it's very interesting. And for my audience, it's all starting to come together a little bit, isn't it? But then. Then we have his little community post. The commentary community is fucked up. They have gotten so much worse. Worse than what? What they were before? Probably, yeah. I mean, have you seen Lunatic's lore? And Raven Pines has characters with text-to-speech voices.
How fucking lame is that?
I know, right? You know, when I made that satirical rant video, screw all this bullcrap garbage, back around December or something, I wasn't expecting much backlash, but oh boy, I got a lot, and it just proved my point. Let's just go over what you weren't expecting to get backlash for saying. Calling an entire community garbage because of the actions of two people, randomly changing subjects mid-sentence, stating your opinions as facts, and your normal production value. Are you sure? I mean, granted, it's always the videos you least expect to get backlash that wind up getting the most, but there's something else I want to point out about that. Backlash isn't necessarily a bad thing. See, I'm going to point to something here that I talked about a couple of videos ago. My Samurai Jack video that got a larger number of dislikes than usual. The controversy behind my take, for one, actually wound up getting my video more exposure in the grand scheme of things, and the negative reception wound up fueling a positive reception when people had more time to digest what I was presenting to them. But, of course, another aspect to why negative reception isn't necessarily a bad thing comes from why that negative reception happened. It's the same reason I wind up with a couple of negative comments or a dislike or two on a lot of videos. See, when you challenge someone's worldview, it sometimes doesn't really matter to them how good the points you make are. As a matter of fact, it's more common for someone going against the zeitgeist to wind up being ridiculed, even if they're making good points. The timing of my video was within a week of Samurai Jack's finale, when people were still high on the positive aspects of the ending, and most people weren't as ready to view it with a critical lens. Honestly, I should have expected backlash for going against the grain the time that I did, because people weren't ready to hear that the ending was bad. That's also the thing about your negative reaction when you speak negatively about someone or something. It stands to reason that those with a more positive viewpoint are going to have a gut reaction to defend it in a lot of cases. Hell, in your video on the CC, you even pointed out that your gut reaction to Loudon was negative, and that was because your first impression was seeing him cover you, but you feel more open to watching his other content. So, that's just it. The fact that you made a video and didn't expect a negative reaction. That's problem number one with your whole situation. You should pretty much always be ready for that to happen. If you're making content that has substance, that's actually just going to happen. A commentary I saw the video was made in February 2022 by Daisy Foxtrot, and it was just really bad. The commentary you speak of was released on January 21st, 2022. So, either you watched it in February and confused the date you watched it with the release date, or you're a liar. I'd like to think it's the former, but, well, as I've already shown and will continue to show, there's just this warped sense of reality you demonstrate in all of this that makes me a little more uncertain. She is someone new to making commentaries and the community itself, and I already have problems with it. Not the biggest deal here, but while Daisy is new to making commentaries, she's not all that new in the sense of being around the community. I'll be fair though, this is something I could see you not really knowing all that well, especially since you aren't exactly a fan. But we already know you're kind of from the outside looking in on the community itself, so why even make a statement like that and just say she's new to the video genre? And I presume you mean that you have a problem with her commentary, but the use of already makes it sound like someone being new to someone and making mistakes is somehow not normal? Like, I know it's small things, but it does add up to your words painting this sort of weird narrative, you know what I mean? Not only did that commentary felt like a waste of time, but it shouldn't have been made in the first place. Which are totally not synonymous concepts. Can I just become the singularity again? It was a very pointless video and spewing out baseless accusations that I changed topics randomly, even going so far as to pick at me for it. Okay, so an accusation being baseless would be something that has no base. So in other words, an accusation that isn't factual. Keep that in mind as we go further into the video. All I'm gonna say right now is that, no, it wasn't baseless. You did, in fact, change topics in that video out of nowhere. And that's a criticism she focused on when talking about you. Speaking of which, she spent the rest of the 28 minutes of the damn commentary mocking me and saying crap like, this is not what you should do in your videos. Don't do what I just did. First of all, saying the things you're complaining about are bad is mocking you? Because that's what it sounds like you're calling out as an example of mocking you. Quotation marks even make it sound like this is a quote. So, she does say something similar to the not real quote you just said when talking about changing topics in the middle of your video, but I think I want to address that in more detail further down in your post, actually. Newsflash, it's a vent video. I was venting about different things and not just about the CC. Maybe you would realize that if you used your brain for a second. Okay, cool, so you're doing a few things here. First of all, you're outright insulting her for covering your video, mocking, if you will. The complaint wasn't even simply that you changed topics either, but that you did so rather abruptly. Like, I think I did a better job of pointing out why this didn't work than Daisy did, but let's just think about this for a second. You know where you complained about her accusation of you randomly changing topics was something you called baseless? You just admitted to doing it. You gave a reason for it, a reason I'll get into in a second, by the way, but this is you saying, yes, I was talking about multiple different things in this video, and then somehow still calling someone pointing that out a baseless accusation. Like, if you admit to doing the thing, you can't say someone's lying about you doing the thing. That's stupid! So, let's talk about her being able to realize that this was a vent video if she used her brain. First of all, a vent video isn't inherently going to completely change topics in the middle of the video. As I pointed out, simply saying enough about that, I want to talk about something else, could have improved the flow, even with you talking about multiple things. Nowhere in the description, the beginning of the video, or in the comments of the video, especially the pinned comment, do you mention that this video is you venting about several things. You say some words that can mean that, but you start the video by apologizing for being negative and talking about the CC comments being something you didn't want to have to come back to. How is someone supposed to figure that out naturally from what you're saying? And look, I'm even giving you the benefit of the doubt this could be something you intended to communicate, thought you communicated well, but it just didn't come across as clearly as you intended. But, well, I'm not sure on that. Any instance where I can say you might be communicating this is simply you saying that you want to get some things off of your chest, which doesn't necessarily mean you're covering multiple things in this video. Of course, there's also the possibility that you're saying that because it's a vent video, which part of your comment from Daisy's video seems to imply. So in other words, relax, it's just a vent video? Sure. But remember your argument against people telling you that Among Us is just a game? It being a vent video doesn't make it immune to criticism. And honestly, I don't really think my opinions are facts. I don't, despite members of the CC saying otherwise. And why would we get the impression you think your opinions are facts? Oh, right.
This is all just nostalgia bait. Tom Holland is horrible as Spider-Man. Fact, not an opinion, but a fact.
You can provide all the lip service to the contrary all you want. What you say when you're not trying to damage control speaks volumes about what you really feel, more so than you're backpedaling when you are. And it's funny how members bitched about Hey It's Cosmic's video on her experience with the CC when it was well put together video and she actually brought good points to the table. Okay, so I'm not aware enough of Cosmic's situation to comment on it, and anyone I ask would basically point out the same. If anything, it's the people more aware of what Cosmic went through that would have a problem with this. So I decided to give a quick read of the comment section. What it boils down to is people like Avi Haltman, notice I'm not afraid to name names here, Cosmic, heard what she had to say about what happened. Just remember, all the information I'm getting is from these comments, in spite of the fact I could have asked Avi, Umbris, and probably everyone else involved for each side of the story in order to piece it together that way, but I'm instead only doing so with the public information, because that's all you have to work with as well. Cosmic had a situation occur in private and decided to post about it publicly while hiding the names. She says in the video that people can out themselves as they like, so then people outed themselves because they liked, and said the situation wasn't as Cosmic said. There was a back and forth, and during this, I did notice some things that didn't line up in Cosmic's attitude towards the whole situation. Cosmic said she didn't want there to be drama, and yet she was just fine responding when people had negative things to say about what she said, which is weird. And in the video, openly invited people to reveal themselves, thus inviting people to engage with her, but using this as a shield of not using names to hide and say that she's not the one creating drama. This comes across as especially sketchy, or sus, if you'd prefer, when less than 2 weeks prior, she released a video on you, where she called you out for airing dirty laundry, when you brought up a situation you were in with members of the community while not naming names, in much the same way she did, but with less detail than she used. In addition, she only has so much respect for that anonymity, since she was more than willing to out someone who wasn't outing themselves as part of the discussion in the comment section. Hell, and this was after she lied about it earlier in the same comment thread. And again, keep in mind, this is just using what's available for you to read. I'm not going to get into the Cosmic shit because it's not my fight. There's no point in bringing it back up. And it's also not the point of this video, but I think it's worth noting the situation isn't as black and white towards Cosmic's side as you say it is. Besides, it was a nothing video anyway. I would argue intentionally so. This is why there will be a second part to the rant on the CC. They get so up in arms when we criticize them, and they wonder why we harshly criticize and make rants on them. See, unlike you, Daisy actually made an effort to say the entire slideshow commentary community wasn't like this. Granted, in her video, that's a little contradictory because she said that because of her experience with a few people, she didn't feel the community as a whole was for her. So she winds up characterizing the whole community because of that experience. But at the very least, she does the surface level job of making it look like she isn't bundling the entire community together as a collective hive mind. And yet you can't even do that. Again, Daisy Foxtrot has the nerve to say, I can't take criticism or some stupid BS like that, just like many CC members tried to do. Well, when your response to someone criticizing you is to screech into the void, then yes, that's typically a sign of you not being able to take criticism. Many CC members are a bunch of hypocrites. They say I can't take criticism, but they don't have the balls to take criticism from other people themselves when they're being ranted on. They hate rants being made on their precious community. Okay, so this is something I can disprove directly because there have been several rants on the slideshow commentary community that were well received by the community as a whole, one of which you even mentioned in your video on the CC by Youngblood Fantasy 91. Matter of fact, Boom, back in the day, I made a fucking rant on y'all bitches and it was well received. Almost as well received, as a matter of fact, as the other CC rant I did with Loudon. Thank you very much. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was back when you were Grillby. What the fuck you smoking? It seems like they don't trust me, trust my redemption, which annoys the crap out of me because I am working hard to better myself, not just in real life, but online as well, especially as a content creator on YouTube. This is kind of final thoughts talk I'm about to get into here, but I'm already part of the way into that with this, so fuck it. The reason people don't trust your changes is because they have not seen signs of improvement yet. For one, for some people, when you burn a bridge, it will stay burnt for a longer period of time than others, and it can be a more permanent level of distrust in some cases. It is what it is, and you can't expect it to just disappear because you've changed. But there's also signs that the change is superficial. See, one thing you get onto Daisy for is pointing out re-uploads of old videos as evidence that you aren't more positive now, stating that they still don't count as new videos. I mean, re-uploading them is an indication that you stand behind them, though. even more so than just saying that you stand by a video. In fact, it indicates that the tone matches up with what you want to present of yourself after the rebrand. In other words, it's a sign that this older video still represents your current content. So it's being presented alongside your current content. So if you re-upload old things and try to say they don't reflect you because they're old, while to some degree that can be true, it does show people a lack of growth when you still feel it fits with what you currently do. They will mostly go after my second part to my CC rant, even if it's good, because it's criticizing them, and apparently you aren't allowed to criticize the commentary community without getting crap thrown at you. Yes you can. It's easy. Just don't be a cunt. And that's coming from Superfire. Oh, well, yeah, I'm an asshole. If you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. It's ridiculous, and it's BS. Also, they don't seem to understand that Among Us memes are really annoying to many, and they got old really fast. They were never funny to begin with. So, you admit that they aren't annoying everyone, yes? That your criticism doesn't necessarily apply to them because they don't agree with you saying they got old? But no, they were also never funny to begin with. You know you keep getting them because you keep complaining about them, right? It's not the memes themselves that are funny. It's your reaction to them that people are getting humor out of. It's called trolling. Is it immature and kind of stupid? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. They don't care. Plus, they are dead memes. The community is filled with horridness every time I look. Oh, it's just a meme, bro, is not a good argument at all. I want you to think about what just a meme might be responding to. Could it be responding to you calling the community horrid for daring to post them? If so, it is a good argument because the argument is that you are overreacting to it. But let's take that same argument. Remember when you said Daisy's video on you was bad because she shouldn't be commentating on a vent video? So, oh, it's just a meme, bad argument. However, oh, it's just a vent video, a good argument in your eyes. Do you see the contradiction? Or are you blind to it when it's directed at you, but are more than willing to use it to dismiss others? Whatever, I'm done here. All I can say is that I legitimately hate the commentary community even more, and I am glad that Corey Margera exposed the commentary community back in 2016 during the whole rivalry with Boonslayer. And now it all comes together, doesn't it? First of all, allow me to clarify something. Two things, actually. First of all, the Slayer is not capitalized. S isn't capital. It's just Boonslayer, one word. Second of all, that was not a rivalry. That was me making points and him flopping on the ground like a goldfish forcibly ejected from its bowl. But it all just makes sense, doesn't it? Referencing an opinion is fact. The constant lashing out when someone responds to you in any way. I mean, shit, some more profanity and an actual charismatic bone in your fucking body, and you'd basically be Corey Margera's Sonic OC Donut Steel, wouldn't you, buddy? Oh, I'm sorry. Did that sound condescending to you? Good. It sounds like I'm condescending to you because I fucking am, kid. You have earned my condescension. Because, see, I'm not like the other people who've talked about you. Other people try to be polite about their criticisms because they don't want to hurt feelings or sound overly critical or come off as malicious. And under normal circumstances, that's what I'd do as well. But here's the problem. I know your fucking breed, little man. And I know that no matter what I say, you're not going to listen. I can't just give you advice, send you on your way to hopefully improve. No. I have to Desolator Magic you. I have to Alexander Kayford you. I have to Corey Margera you. The fact that you can see what happened in 2016 and somehow call Corey the one who came out on top in that discussion proves to me how few brain cells you actually have. And you present with all the fucking traits, including your complete and utter inability to make a point beyond spouting meaningless buzzwords with a lack of self-awareness reserved for the driest of BuzzFeed articles with half the vocabulary. You call people spouting Among Us memes scum, and yet you keep responding to them because I'm guessing you find that concept pretty fucking relatable, whether it be because you can relate to being a pile of shit yourself, or because hearing the word imposter makes you cringe because it reminds you of how artificial your human existence is. In a sense, I am impressed. Because you can find a way of saying absolutely fucking nothing while still having words spew from your mouth like the sewage that it fucking is. Some people are going to get onto me for being this harsh, I'm sure, but now's the part where you find out why. I have no advice for you. Why? Because I have enough experience with people like you to know that you don't fucking change. You'll provide a lip service to improvement, but will do nothing to change yourself until someone puts you so far under the dirt that you have no choice but to either examine how you got in this hole to begin with, or make the dirt your fucking home. So that's what I'm here to do. Spike you into the fucking ground and see if you can figure it out, because you damn sure ain't even gonna realize something is wrong for as long as you can get back up without having to think too much about it. You even made a video somewhat recently as of scripting where you said you were going to take measures to improve yourself. But yet, what's in that video?
If you're gonna start crap with me, if you're gonna shove bad taste down my throat, Pokemon is overrated. Fact. Not an opinion, but a fact. A scientifically proven fact that can never, ever be debated or argued.
That's proof right there. That it is at the core of who you are. You are fucking corrupted by hatred, malice, and spite. No joke. I actually felt the need to pitch shift that video after seeing it because I wasn't entirely sure that you weren't just Corey with a voice changer after hearing you with the exact same tones, the exact same inflections, the exact same words. I mean, you can talk about changing all you want, but I've seen you so many times in so many different visages. Either you realize why you've been spiked into your hole, or you stay there where you fucking belong. I don't give a fuck either way. Now, about that pony.